Welcome to Close of Play with me, Sanjay Murthy, and joining me today is a man who has quite a story to tell. He grew up in the Melbourne suburb of Blackrock with an ultra-competitive brother who went on to become one of Australia's greatest cricketers. Shane Warne's untimely death of a heart attack in 2022 was a tragedy, but has led inevitably to a positive outcome with the founding of the Shane Warne Legacy. To find out more about their early days and the legacy, welcome to Close of Play, Jason Warne. Jace, how are you, mate?
Great, thanks, Sanj. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, pleasure. As I said to you before when we were chatting off air, I want to spend a lot of time talking about the legacy and the good work it's done. But let's set the scene for everybody that's listening. What was it like growing up? Let's go back to the beginning. Now, what's your earliest memory of Shane?
Oh, really, it's probably giving me the typewriter.
And
No, look, it's look, as kids, we just when I think about us as kids, everything we did was a competition. We played cricket up the driveway. We kicked the football in the street or up at the park. We played tennis around the corner. They even went as far as who could do the biggest bomb off the pier, Monopoly, backgammon, 500. Doesn't matter what it was always a competition. Yeah, that's just what we did. I kind of think we were fortunate to grow up in a era where we did only have 3 TV channels and there was no internet and there was no games or video games or anything like that. No phones. You had your house phone and your mum would yell at you if you're on the phone for too long because I'm waiting on a call, all that stuff. You had to entertain yourselves.
Yeah, cool.
And, back when we were growing up, I was like, all right, it's a nice day, get out. Make sure you're home by the time the street lights come on.
Yeah, sounds very similar to my...
Yeah, and where we lived, whilst it wasn't far, it was far enough that away from where we went to school that it was harder to catch up with our friends. You could jump on your bike and ride 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever it is. But because of that, a lot of the time we'd just hang out together, go up to the cricket nets, whatever. Yeah, so we're in each other's pockets all the time.
For the non-Australians amongst us, what's a typewriter? I don't know what typewriter is, but...
You don't know the typewriter?
No.
Where you get pinned down and you bang on your chest like a typewriter.
Okay.
Tickles, it hurts. It's a bit of a mixture of both. It's really uncomfortable. And, he had a great time giving me that as a big brother.
You told me once that in your games of backyard cricket, he never got you out. And actually, I asked him that. He actually corroborated.
No, what I told you, which is 100% the truth, is once he debuted for Australia, he never got me out.
Fine. And I actually did ask him that, and he actually said that was true. So, because I wasn't having that, right? I thought there's no way.
Yeah, it's true, man.
Yeah,
got me up plenty growing up.
Yeah, I bet.
Got me up plenty playing cricket up the driveway, but no, once he started playing for Australia, he never got me out.
What did he bowl when you were kids?
He always wanted to be fast, but he wasn't. I think most of us are like that. Everyone wants to be the tearaway quick to start with.
Yeah,
exactly. But when you realise the ball comes out slower than what you run in, you've got to start looking at something else.
You were quite decent as well, weren't you?
Hey?
You were quite decent as well, weren't you, as a cricketer?
Yeah, I wasn't fast though, mate.
No.
No, I was more a batter. I just bowled whatever the team didn't have to make sure I got a bit of a trundle. But, I was a bit lazy as a kid, so I'd bowl off spin in the nets. And I'm with Mark Moore. They shouldn't be playing Test cricket. It's a bit of poo. There's the odd one that comes through that's okay. Like Nathan Lyon's done well. Morley was pretty good. There's been a couple over the years, but generally it's a bit pedestrian. But he always bowled leggies. When we were kids playing up the driveway, we'd pick our international 11 each. So you'd be playing like a test match. And you had to battle bowl what the player you had did. So if you had Jimmy Higgs, you had to bowl leg spin, but you had to bowl it with his bowling style.
Oh, really?
Jeff Thompson, you had to give the arm a big swing back to bowl. Bobby Willis, he'd come running in from the other side of Beach Road, with the big arc. If you're AB, you had to bat left-handed. So we did all of that. So you bowled a bit of everything as a kid, and you had to try and get good at it. Otherwise, you could just get pogo. You had to bowl your over and leg spin no matter what.
Actually, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I read somewhere or someone said that AB made himself left-handed because his right eye was stronger than his left eye or something. Have you ever heard that before? Or not?
I haven't, but I wish you had told me that last week because I would have asked him over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to touch
No,
on.
there's actually a big merit to that. Years ago, back when I was like 20 years old, I went to work on summer camp in America. And while I was over there, part of what I was doing was teaching swimming and lifeguarding, but I already had my bronze medallion from being in the Surf Lifesaving Club here. So I said, well, while everyone else is training to the waterfront, what do you want to do? You can do anything. I said, you know what? I want to learn to do archery. So I did a course to become an archery instructor. And when I was doing that, I was shooting right-handed because I'm right-handed at everything. And I kept missing high left. And the guy said, hey, come here. He did this test to work out my dominant eye. And it was my left eye. So I said, no, your left eye dominant, you have to shoot left-handed. So it's at the back because it helps with perception and all of that. So what you're saying could actually be right.
Yes. It seemed a very AB thing to do. It's like you can see that it's with the sort of
It's amazing the difference it makes when I'm picking up the line and length of the ball and all of that.
yeah.
I thought about batting left-handed at one stage. I could see it better. I just couldn't hit it as well. So I went back to right-handed.
Aussie rules played a big part in your youth as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I'd much prefer Aussie rules, and so did Joe. He wanted to be an Aussie rules player as well.
Yeah.
But for those that know Aussie rules, certain positions require certain physical characteristics. So there's a position for everyone essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But Shane was the way he played and his attributes made him a good full forward. But he wasn't tall enough.
Right.
So he was a really strong mark. He was a straight kick. Couldn't kick it very far, but he was a straight kick. And it was a really good mark on a lead, all of that, but he wasn't tall enough. And he wasn't fast enough to play on the flank. So he was sort of, after under 19s, he was sort of in no man's land. I was fortunate I'm a little bit taller, which I've never reminded him of that.
Because there's a reasonable gap between
yes.
size-wise. What are you, 3 or 4 inches taller than him?
Oh, yeah. But
Yeah, let's go
with 3
more.
just to be kind.
But because you played as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, so I managed to get on the senior list for 1 year, but never played seniors, so that sucks. Still a regret. Well, not a regret, just a disappointment. Let's go with that.
Did you ever not think of working in AFL?
Yeah, I have, and I don't know. Life doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll tell you about.
It takes you in all different paths, and who knows where you end up. But it's just enjoy the journey.
Mate, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, we've known each other a very long time, and when I decided that I wasn't going to do, work in business anymore, and I was going to do this and be a cricket commentator and broadcaster, it's cheap therapy, mate. I wrote a book, which I haven't published, but I will when I finish the story, called 30 Years of Failing Slowly. And it was all about drifting, honestly. It was all about not having a plan. Like, as you just said, life takes you, and if you don't have a plan, life takes you in that direction when actually you should be going in that direction. And the gap in the middle for me was the 30 years of failing slowly. And people like Shane and people have made it to the top. Shane played 145 test matches and 194 ODIs. But the determination he must have had, I'm asked, this is a statement that should be a question. The determination that he had as a kid, was he always going to be what he became?
No, he wanted to be an AFL footballer. With cricket, came a little bit later. And don't get me wrong, he was always a very, very good cricketer. He went to Mentone Grammar on a cricket scholarship, so
Okay.
he was always a better cricketer than he was footballer. But he loved football. And it wasn't until he got cut by St Kilda after under-19s that a guy called by the name of Rick Goff said, "Oh, well, if you're not playing footy," so during the cricket season, he said, "Well, if you," and at this stage, Shane was playing district thirds and fourths,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
hey,
Wow. So he's
so this
playing
would
that
have
lower
been,
level.
yeah, district thirds or fourths. This would have been 19, summer of 88, 89. Yeah,
So
summer
what's he,
of
about
88,
20 or
89.
so?
No, he would have been 18, 19. So he played under 19s first year out of school. Finished HSC at 18. Next year, he played under 19s, got cut. So he was 19, turning 20 the end of the next year. So over the course of the summer, he was playing for someone in Bristol. And he said to Shane, "If you're not playing footy next year, do you want to come over and play cricket?" I reckon, I think it was Imperial Shane played for.
Right. Okay.
Ended up going over and played for in Bristol. And played there, put on a ton of weight. Geez, he was big when he came back. But bowling all year round was the thing that first really pushed him forward. Just he always had good control, but that went to the next level. So then all of a sudden, he got back, and he was playing second, got into the first. Then he got in the first the leg spinner who had good control, went to the cricket academy, and it all started to roll from there.
Did you get released from the academy? Was there an academy story?
Yeah, yeah,
We won't go
yeah.
into that.
Let's not go into that.
Let's not go into that one. So when did you
Let's
know he
not
was
go
going
into it.
to? And when did you know he was going to become a star? Do you think, as a family?
Well, put it this way. I was at the MCG with him at the Boxing Day Test match in 1991, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting up right in the back, furthest, topless back row you could find in the MCG. We're having a beer and a pie, and he's going, "Hey, mate, I could be playing the next test." I laughed. I said, "Yeah, good on you, mate." As if. And 2 days later, he got the phone call, "You're in for Sydney."
Wow. Who's that against?
So once he debuted, it was a shame he dropped that sharp quarter bowl chance when Ravi Shashi was on 66 and went on to make 205.
And he played again.
But uh, his first couple of tests weren't huge, but then AB threw him the ball in Sri Lanka, and he got three for none at the end of the innings to help him win a match. And he always said that was the moment for him that he realised, hang on, I think I can play at this level. And then that's when he really buckled down. And then on the back of that, he got the 7 for against the West Indies, which was that series was what that was. He bowled okay, but that was his one good result. But then after that, went to New Zealand, did well, and obviously England, Gatting ball,
Yeah.
things changed.
Where were you on the Gatting ball?
um, I was working as a courier at that stage, courier and furniture removalist in Manchester at that stage.
Yeah.
And I had a look, and I thought, you know what, he's not going to bowl in the first session. I'll get down there at lunch, and so I said, look, I'm finishing at 12:30. Head down. I want to be there for the first ball after lunch. I said, yeah, no problem, no problem. And I was listening to it on the radio, and I was sort of heading back to the depot, and they said Shane's coming on. I'm like, oh, come on, like seriously. And then that ball happened. I said, guys, I'm sorry, I'm beelining back. Get someone else to finish. Well, there's only a couple of boxes. You get someone else to do it. I'm getting to the game. And I was still listening. Then first ball the next over, he got, was it Robin Smith who Judging just
We're going to
died.
talk. We're going to touch on that slightly. It's a slight change to the agenda.
Yeah,
But
it was pretty sad. But yeah, so the first ball of his second over, he got judgy. Ball was, it's been lost over the years, but it was pretty much, it wasn't far off the Gatting ball either. Yeah, so it was really after the West Indies we thought, hang on, he could have a decent career here. But yeah, then 93 Ashes, it all changed.
yeah. Well, let's talk about the judge, as you've just mentioned him. Yeah, sad day yesterday, I think. Yeah, overnight, kind of for us that that Robin had passed away. And if you remember, when we had our business going back in the day, the first dinner that we
Mm,
put on was Robin Smith and Rod Marsh. Yeah, it's poignant, that being back in Hampshire now, his stomping ground, and obviously Shane
yeah,
played down here as well. Do you have much
yeah.
interaction with the judge?
Yeah, a bit over the years. I got to know him when Shane was there. When Shane was playing, first went to Hampshire is when I was managing him. So his first season, I went over for a couple of months and got to know everyone I needed to know in the organisation. And the judge he was awesome.
Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah, he's just a really good bloke. And so I got to know him then, and I've been fortunate enough to have a bit to do with him over the years. I'm not going to say I was one of his close mates or anything like that,
No,
but I probably bump into him, you know, once a year, once every couple of years, something like that, and it's just a ripping bloke.
yeah, I guess it shows the mortality,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it's sad, and you know, I was reading today that there's no suspicious circumstances or anything like that, so they've just got no idea what happened. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, it's a shame because I know recently it opened up about battling some demons with alcohol and all of that. But fortunately, I don't. Doesn't sound like any of that was in play, and it was just natural. Sounds like it was natural causes, and just a really sad end to someone who was had demons and was getting on top of them, and even when he had demons, just a ripping bloke.
yeah, yeah. Nicely said, mate. I think that's a sound assessment of Robin. Narrative, and I don't want to go into the narrative around Shane, back in the day type stuff. And it's been done. It's been done. But the narrative after his passing has changed in Australia, hasn't it? And in what way has that changed? And how have you seen
Yeah,
sort of the effects?
in Australia, there's always a real tall poppy syndrome. Like, in America, they celebrate their superstars.
Mm,
India, I mean, you look at how Sachin and Virat and these guys are treated over there. They're like
yeah,
gods. In Australia, you're revered until you get too good. And
well,
then
it's
it's
like
like,
England, right?
oh, hang on, hang on.
Yeah,
And so there was always that. And, I think everyone knows, I'm not saying anything new, but Shane got his name on the front pages for the wrong reasons a few times. And the frustrating part through all of that is he never broke the law or anything like that. It's just that he did some things that maybe other people were wishing they were doing, or things that other people frowned upon. Um, but that's like having a crack at a guy for not agreeing with the way he lives his life. It's not doing anything wrong. We're not breaking any laws or anything like that. But any time the slightest little thing would happen, they just roll them all out time and time again, as if to try and. So the narrative was always about, bit of a bad boy type thing, which not the case at all. Um, but I think after he passed, people realised that they weren't appreciating everything about him for who he was and how
mm,
natural he was and how transparently honest he probably was about the way he went about things. They hung their hat on things that didn't really matter,
mm,
and that's all gone since he's passed. I've noticed that all the incidental things almost become humorous stories type thing,
hmm.
rather than negatives. And he's now being remembered for all his good things. And it's just shame that he couldn't be treated like that when he was alive.
Yeah, and it's fair, isn't it? And then
He
since
was
his
a lot. He was a
Yeah.
lot, but there's elements that didn't.
And,
Yeah.
just as a family, was it tiresome, the constant knocking down of Shane?
Yeah, it was. It was as his manager, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's why you stopped.
It created some issues.
Yeah,
But, it is, and it was frustrating. But, like, it wasn't just the media either. I remember times in a cafe, I'd hear people telling their mates stories about Shane that weren't even close to true, and they're telling
yeah,
their mates as if they know it gospel.
yeah, yeah.
And once or twice, I couldn't help myself. I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, mate. Where'd you get this information?" "Oh, well, I know someone." I said, "Oh, really? I know someone. I reckon my information's better than yours, and I'm telling you, you're wrong."
Yeah, there's a lot of opinion dressed up as fact, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of that. And then there was a lot of that about Shane because,
Yeah,
as everyone does, whenever they tell a story, everyone adds their own little bit of mayo to it. And, once you get 10 deep on the Chinese whisper, there's been a lot of mayo added and it starts to not resemble the truth anymore.
yeah, no, and then you've got social media in there as well, where that gets broadcasted, and then it sort of the flywheel starts to move, and suddenly, you're getting phone
No,
calls.
I, well, that's what I don't get about social media and internet and all of that is that things just grow legs that have got no basis to start with, but someone just
No.
throws something out there, and there's always another 100 people willing to jump on board and say, "Oh, yeah, that's the truth."
Yeah,
But it's got no fact basis in fact whatsoever. It just gets me. It really does.
yeah, it just suits the narrative there, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's move to the
Builds a
leg.
myth.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move to the legacy, which was set up um, after his passing. Is it right that it's a family-led and family-driven initiative?
Yes and no. Yes
Okay.
and no. Um,
So whose idea was
it's
it?
we just it was the family idea to set something up.
Okay.
Um, we knew that Shane always liked helping people through his foundation and through all his other charity work that he did over the years. Giving back was something that he did a lot of.
Hmm.
And so there's one that we wanted to continue to make a difference with his name, even if he couldn't be here to do it himself. We felt that's what he would have wanted. Um, but we didn't really know how to go about it or what to do. And Helen, who worked with Shane for a long time, and Neo, who was Shane's day-to-day contact with the manager who took over from me, they were having to think about things, and they came up with, what about if we do something around harder? And we said, you know what, that's a great idea. As a family, we've always thought that, always try and make a positive out of something. What if there's a negative? Well, okay, something crap's happened. Well, how can we turn that into a positive? So we knew he'd want to do that, and once they thought that up was a perfect fit. Spike in people once we launched. I mean, once he died, there was already a spike in people having their heart checked. But then once we launched this, the numbers have gone through the roof. We're coming up to year 3 or 4.
Three,
3.
yeah.
I think
Mm,
about 3 years ago we launched.
mm.
We're hopefully through the Boxing Day test, we'll tick over 400,000 heart checks we've done.
Well,
And the heart checks doesn't replace going to the doctor, but it
sure.
measures key indicators to let people know if they're at risk or not. And it's the start of the journey towards um, getting on top of their heart health. Hopefully we'll get to 400,000 by the end of the year that we've done. And we did a survey recently, and I'm not sure how representative it is of that whole 400,000, but of the people we surveyed, came back with 26% said it has potentially saved their lives.
Well,
So if that is accurate, you're talking about what's that, about 26% is about 100,000 people that would potentially has a positive impact in their on their lifeline.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a pretty special thing to be able to say that his passings led to that. Doing it all, it's all we don't want someone else's family going through what we have for something that was preventable. And all
yeah,
he had to do was go to the doctor, and they would have done a check and said, "Mate, you got a blockage in there," and put a stent in, and away we go.
yeah.
So yeah, if someone else, if through doing this, someone else's kids don't have to mourn the loss of their dad, or someone else's parents don't have to mourn the loss of their child, then that's a positive.
And so it's heart health checks on location, as well as you put equipment and defibrillators and into communities and schools and things. Is that right?
No, not so much of that.
Okay.
And look, over time, we'll broaden what we do,
Okay.
but our focus has been trying to get as many Australians as possible to have their heart checked. So, yeah, we've got some great partners. Latrobe Health have been amazing. Without them, we wouldn't be doing this. Diabetes Australia have now come on board as well, and yeah, it's going really well.
And you've
So
got a
with the machines go out. We've got them in. We've done a partnership with a chemist chain. They're in all of those around big sporting events. We get them in there, so we'll have. I'd be guessing if I picked the number, might be about
mhm,
15 or 20, might be more, might be less. Machines at the MCG for the Boxing Day test. We have the same over in Adelaide for the Gather Round, which is an AFL event where all the AFL teams play in one city on the weekend. So we had that
okay.
over there as
Yeah.
well. We've done regional tours with machines around Australia. So yeah, just trying to tick all those boxes.
And is there a plan to grow it outside of Australia?
Yeah, we did some stuff in Ireland at one stage, and we're looking to potentially, in time, would love to be across the year. We'd love to cover all the cricket playing countries if we could.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all money. So just as we continue to grow, and we'll see where we end up. But it was good,
Yeah.
getting Australia right first, and then see where we go from there.
And as a family, you're actively involved in the legacy. I see Shane's kids, Jackson especially, is quite active on in YouTube. He's
Yeah,
got his own channel now and stuff, talking about life around Shane and what he's done.
yeah. And, around the legacy, we're there to do whatever they need us to do. So
Yeah.
H
Okay.
drives it. She's building a team behind there to help her get through it all. It was more of a Bulls Masters event to raise money for rural aid, which was close to Roy's, Andrew Simons,
Hmm.
from a charity perspective. And we partnered with them. Next year it's in Melbourne, so it'll be more about us. But this was more about them. But yeah, we had the Simons Warne Invitational up on the Gold Coast over the weekend, which was an amazing event.
Hmm.
Um,
There's a golf event.
we're very fortunate that we had some amazing retired sportsmen come along and play, and some really good corporate supported. So it was a magnificent 3 or 4 days up on the Gold Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. Tan's certainly showing that you've spent 3 or 4 days outside.
Oh, well, man, it comes pretty quick.
It's
Yeah, no,
layers and
it's
layers of it.
it was pretty warm up there because I think it was running around low 30s. It was about 80% humidity. I was getting around lunchtime. It was pretty hard to hold your driver.
Yeah,
Arms are getting a bit
must
slippery.
yeah, it must be tough, mate. It's like actually today's quite sunny, but yesterday it's like 5 degrees and raining in London. So yeah, I'm not
I
jealous in
was,
the slightest.
well, it was 27 in Melbourne today, so I got down the
Yeah,
beach for about an hour and a half.
yeah. It's a tough life. Yeah. So are you going to do more collaborative events with other charities?
Um, we're sort of guided by H and Neo with
Yeah.
Vince.
Okay.
Um, so Helen's the one driving it all. She knows what her and her team can cope with as far as as we grow, obviously, you need more people to keep on top of it all. So we're not trying to do anything too quickly. We're just trying to let it all happen organically. And, as the right opportunities come up, then we'll look to, step
Yeah.
into that space. If we need to grow the team, we will. But uh, H is the one who's having all the conversations with all the different governments and sporting bodies and all of that. We'd by her on that.
We're recording this after the Perth debacle, but just
Hmm?
before the pink
I,
ball
well, I
test at the
wouldn't call
Gap.
it a debacle. Call it an amazing knock by Trav Head.
Yes, you could call it that as well if you want to. I mean, we can go around that a little bit. You know, it's so I know. So as you know, this close of play I also did with Geraint Jones, who, thanks to you, is how I met him back in that Hong Kong Sixers
The
event
Hong
back
Kong
in
Sixers.
yeah. So what was that 2007,
Wasn't that
8
a
or
great
something?
event?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's great fun.
2007,
The 7 was it?
2007. And we
Yeah.
won. We won best at the ICC Awards. We've done best marketing for a cricket event outside Test playing country.
Oh really?
Outside the international series.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go. See, great work by you. I just hung about, as you know. Yeah, because I was telling someone yesterday I went to this event, because and actually the stuff with Geraint's going really well, and some sort of Sky Sports are picking up on it and things. And someone said, "How do you mean?" I told the story of, that side, which was your brother, McGrath, Kumble, Lara, Heath Streak, Craig McMillan, and Jonesy. I think that was it. Was there another one? I can't remember if that was it. I think, and they lost in the final to Sri Lanka. There's 7, yeah. So those 7, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and because Pidge broke his finger, didn't he? And Geraint had to bowl. I remember that. He keeps telling me how good he was. I think they sound very much like your deadly
Well,
doubles that you threw down.
Garen had the bowl.
Yeah,
When we got Garen in as our keeper, but
yeah.
then when we realised everyone had to bowl, Brian can't bowl.
No,
So
no.
he
So he
so we
kept.
had to have Jared bowl and
Yeah, yeah,
Lara had to keep, so he didn't have to
yeah,
bowl.
yeah. Exactly. So Geraint
Yeah.
stood next to me, and I said, "Mate, shouldn't you be out there as the keeper?" He said, "No one. They're not here to see me, mate." I thought, "Oh, you're a good bloke. I like you." So there you go. But yeah, he was so. Yeah, we were talking about what he said when we did our Perth review. He said the thing about Travis Head was that, England, I mean, let's not talk about the England batting too much because we've been here for a long time, but just that flat foot, big booming drive outside off stump that they played. Whereas if you look at what Travis Head did, he played for the first 20 or so balls, he actually played the ball under his nose and he played sensible,
Mm-hmm.
test match cricket. And then
He
he started
opened up for his
manipulating the
second
field.
50.
Again?
Mm.
What you
He
say, mate?
opened up for his second 50.
Yeah, that's right. So he
I
played
I
very
reckon I
sensibly. He
reckon
pushed the
by
ball
his
about.
first 30 or so were in normal time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then he forced the bowlers to bowl short at him, and there you go. And he started smashing, smashing it all up. So that was that thing. So if we're talking about if England are able to adapt, it's not just the batters that need to adapt. Especially with the pink ball at the Gabba, you've got to keep the ball full. And let's see. So that starts tomorrow. Shane, I
Okay,
mean,
so I've got a question for you here.
got him.
I sort of think that going back up until about 2 years ago, I reckon, up until
Yeah,
about 2 years ago, around the world for a decade or more, they were just rolling out roads to bat on. All test matches are absolute roads.
yeah.
And everyone's scoring at 4, 5, 6 and over. And that was when this Bazball thing started.
Mm,
But
mm.
the pitches were batting delights. And there's been a bit of a change over the last couple of years to make it a more even contest between bat and ball. I reckon they're still batting like they're playing on a road and they're not giving respect to the bowlers that they deserve having a pitch that does a little bit for them. That's just my opinion. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think that's right. I think there's certainly been a change, directive from the ICC or from whoever to make the contest more even and give bowlers a chance. I don't know whether it's a legacy mindset, if you like. I think it is that they want to play in that dominant fashion and score quickly and and put scoreboard pressure, if you like, on the opposition. And I was listening to Ricky Ponting talking on a podcast the other day, and he said, so that '05 side that Shane obviously played in, he said, in the sides that I captained, that he captained, as in punter, we played that way. You know, we played aggressively, we wanted to dominate. We just didn't give it a label. And so my question back to you is: the label the problem, not the style of play?
I think when the Australians were doing it, and for years we're trying to we're getting 350 in a day and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We had batsmen that were like, we had blokes like Matty Hayden who
yeah,
cleared the fence. We had blokes like Gilly, a punter. We had these guys who were stroke players,
yeah,
and they didn't play shots if the ball wasn't there to be hit. They just capitalised on it when it was.
yeah,
But their innings, were still rooted in defence. Where I'll look at England and the defence, like who is
Duckett doesn't leave
what's
it.
his name? The opener. He's lost
Duckett.
Ben Duckett. He's left like 2 balls in his whole
Yeah,
career.
yeah, yeah,
He left one in the Perth Test, and they said that's the second ball he's left in his whole career. Don't expect to
yeah.
see that again.
No, exactly. Yeah,
So if you're playing on seaming pitches and you're not leaving balls in the dangerous areas early, and the ball's hard and really steaming, you're sort of setting yourself up to get an edge.
mm, mm.
I know that's.
Yeah, and the lack
I
of
just,
practice doesn't
yeah.
help.
By all means, be aggressive when it's there to be aggressive against,
Yeah,
but you can't be aggressive if you're not there.
I'll ask you the question that Dean
So,
Jones asked me about Sachin Tendulkar. He said to me, he said, tell me Sachin Tendulkar's best 3 shots. What do you reckon they were?
forward defensive, the lead, and the cover drive.
It was forward defensive, the leave, and the and ducking. They were the 3. Because he said with Sachin's without that defense, you can't, you know, it's the whole Jeff Boycott. You can't score runs back in the pavilion. You know, it's that, right?
Exactly. But
Yeah. So,
yeah, like Sachin's forward defensive, it sucked the life out of the bowlers because it's so
yeah,
solid.
yeah. And that's
You know,
what
they're
Haydos
putting
said
a
as well.
line and leg up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where I'm coming from with the way the Australian team batted back then, is you had these aggressive batsmen, but their defence was solid.
Mm,
And so if you're trying to attack the stumps or nip it away just outside off, and when it's outside off, it's being left. When it's on the stumps, it's been defended back to you, and it's looking rock solid.
mm.
All of a sudden, you're starting to wonder how you're going to get a wicket, and that's when you start to try and get a little bit creative, and it opens up scoring opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
Where if they're swinging early,
Mm.
guess what? You don't have
Yeah,
to stop trying to hit the top of off.
yeah. Fourth stump, fourth stump, fourth stump. You know, that McGrath,
Yeah.
Terry Alderman, Scott Boland sort of type of line. Brizzy's,
McGrath used to take 2 or 3 overs. McGrath used to take 2 or 3 overs to set a batsman up for 1 ball.
yeah.
And if he didn't bowl the ball right, or if he didn't get the wicket, he'd go back to setting him up for another 2 or 3 overs for that 1 ball.
Jimmy Anderson said the
So,
same thing.
mm, and that was the biggest difference. Like, Stewie McGill was a great bowler, but as a bowling unit, um, he bowled bowled a hell of a lot of wicket-taking balls,
Mm,
but he bled some runs in between time. So it actually made it harder for blokes like McGrath at the other end, because when he was bowling with Shane, they'd dry it up at both ends. If you dry the runs up for 10 overs, something's going to break.
got to try something.
Either they're going to get a boundary and break the shackles, or they're going to get out. Something's going to give.
Mm,
Where if you've got a bowler who's relying on bowling wicket-taking deliveries, but then giving out some runs here and there, that pressure doesn't build. And I'm not taking anything away from Stewie McGill when I say that, because some of his best balls were as good as anyone's. And generally speaking, how he bowled is how leg spinners have always bowled. but that's what sets Shane apart,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good point.
or one of the
Um,
things.
prediction for Brisbane and then the rest of the series?
I am going to predict that England are going to pull their head in Brisbane
Yeah.
after being losing 20 wickets in 2 days with an innings in between. Well, really, they lost 20 wickets in a day, didn't they?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I reckon they're going to be a little bit more circumspect, put a bit of extra price on their wicket. I reckon they're just going to have a little bit more defence. But I still reckon Australia win.
And
3.5 days.
marvelous. And then 2-0 going into Adelaide, and then the rest of the stuff. Are you going into McGrath territory here?
Well, I reckon our bowlers are going to, our batsmen are more used to the conditions in Queensland.
Hmm.
We're fast and bouncy. Throw a pink ball in there, it's going to get pretty tough for a tourist.
There you go.
But I think I'll last a little bit longer than Perth because I think they'll put a bit of higher price on their wicket and post a better score. But I still think we get in. I still think we get it done. I'm going to back Steve Smith to be the top scorer.
Okay, you I see predictions all around. Jace, thank you very much for that, mate.
Adelaide, I'll give you guys a good chance.
Oh, really? Okay, well, then we'll have a chat. We'll see what. See, I'll come to you for a sort of a bit of a to camera prediction for our socials before Adelaide, if you want. Mate, listen, thanks very much
Okay,
for your time. Glad the legacy is going well. Good luck with everything with that in the future,
thanks, mate.
and let's hope that England actually get to win a Test match. It'd be nice for that. Jason Warne, thanks for being on Close of Play.
At least look like it. Let's go with at least look like it.
Yeah, give us some false hope again. Cheers, mate.
So, mate, thank you.
Yeah, mate.